INEC presents certificates of return to newly elected federal lawmakers for the Senate and the House of Representatives. I'm Linda Akibe, and you are welcome to the Gavel. About 400 federal lawmakers-elect received certificates of return from the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. The lawmakers and their supporters, family and friends, thronged the International Conference Center in Abuja for the event, which is actually the first of its kind, as certificates of return are usually given to the lawmakers in their states. One lawmaker-elect was absent at the event, and that was the Imo State Governor, Mr. Rochas Okorocha. INEC refused to invite Governor Okorocha to the ceremony after it noted the controversial result collation process during the senatorial election in Imo West, where Governor Okorocha was declared winner. The returning officer had raised an alarm that he announced the result under duress. There will definitely be more developments as regards this issue as the days go by. So let's kick off the program with a look at INEC's presentation of certificates of return to the legislators-elect.
Victory, they say, is sweet, and these legislators are basking in the euphoria of winning the senatorial and House of Representatives elections. The next step after the election to become members of the 9th Assembly is to receive certificates of return, and this is what brings these legislators-elect to the International Conference Center in Abuja.
There is a lot of work ahead.
But before he begins the ritual, the INEC chairman, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, makes an appeal to the incoming lawmakers.
I want to assure you that we will continue to work with the incoming National Assembly to review and strengthen our electoral laws. But I want to appeal to the senators-elect to please start work early and conclude work on the electoral legal framework in good time, well ahead of the 2023 general elections. The tendency to delay electoral reforms, particularly the review of the electoral legal framework, until it is too close to the election, means that vital lessons learned from one general election are lost before another general election, or debates are dominated by some other considerations close to the elections if the reforms come very, very close to general elections. All these leave the Commission with little time to develop processes, including regulations and guidelines, make required consultations with stakeholders, embark on effective voter education and sensitization, train staff, and organize deployment for elections.
Right Honorable Yakubu Dogara.
INEC is issuing certificates of return to 102 senators-elect and over 300 members-elect of the House of Representatives. Some of the seats are inconclusive and will be contested for during the March 23 supplementary election. There is a mix of returning and first-time lawmakers who will be representing their various constituencies in the 9th Assembly. The back and forth between President Buhari and the 8th Assembly over the Electoral Act Amendment Bill led to a situation where the President refused to sign the bill, explaining that assenting to the bill so close to the 2019 general elections could create confusion. Channels Television spoke to some lawmakers-elect who say they will give priority to strengthening electoral laws.
Well, I completely agree that we should have a reform of our electoral process. What INEC needs to do is to submit their requirements on time, unlike the last, this 8th Assembly, when it came like a few months to the election. And I think that going through the last election, we saw so many things that needed to be done, from their delivery of materials, you know, and this inconclusiveness of election. We need to actually bring the guidelines of INEC into the law to ensure that it is part of our law, rather than creating a lacuna for other people to complain that it's not part of the law.
In terms of legislation, like within the Electoral Act, you discover that there are so many good laws. Issue of being in possession of voter's card that is not yours, open payment for votes and the rest of them. These things are there. We need to find out from the police force why, in the event of open breach of some of these laws, that no arrests were made.
Some of the lawmakers-elect also set the agenda for the 9th Assembly.
Generally, it's good governance. Our people are suffering. So what we can do for them is to bring up good laws, that will promote the area of youth employment or empowerment, women empowerment, also ensuring that critical infrastructures that are needed for our people to see that life is worth living are provided for them. So those are the areas that I, for one, who is representing the good people of our Oshimili Federal Constituency, will be focusing on.
I believe that a lot of our laws have become so obsolete. If we're operating a federal system of government, let it be the one that is constitutional federalism, that gives a lot of power to the states. I believe that a lot of things can be achieved through the state governments. And if we amend our constitution to suit that purpose, we'll see a lot of development at the regions.
I would like to see the equality bill come to life. I would like to see where we mainstream the need to have women participate in legislation. And I would also want to see us pass bills that will impact positively on youth.
It's less than 3 months to the end of the 8th Assembly and the start of the 9th, and already serious politicking has begun on who will emerge Senate President and Deputy Senate President, as well as Speaker and Deputy Speaker. This will most likely be another fascinating contest in the coming months.